I want to first preface this video by saying that my life, my struggles, my limiting beliefs, my trauma, everything that I have gone through is gonna look different than what you have gone through. Whatever you're going through, your story is valid. Your story, your struggles, your triumphs, everything is valid. And the cycle that you are breaking, the cycle that you're working on breaking right now is not worth judging. Whether it be deeply rooted within you that's ran for generations, or whether it be some kind of belief that you picked up recently from trauma, your story is still valid. Because you're here, you are breaking the cycle already. And that is worth celebrating. Hello and welcome back, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lacy Jane. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're returning, I cannot express enough how thankful I am for your presence. So lately, things have been just pretty easy for me in general. And when I say pretty easy, I don't mean like on the outside, because I promise you things have actually on the outside been the most difficult and trying times of my life. What I mean is, when I say that things are pretty easy, I mean that all of the years of trying to actively break the cycles and trying to break that trauma and trying to learn and find new ways to deal with my depression and my mental health issues is starting to actually pay off. And I say that because whatever hard work you're doing is worth it, and it may not be worth it right now. You might not physically see it, but I promise you, the work that you put in is going to pay off. But that also isn't to say that I'm completely healed, because you're never, ever gonna be completely healed, because we signed up in this life to learn things. We signed up to actually go through hardships to learn new things about ourselves and come back to ourselves. So I am forever going to be peeling back the onion layer of healing. If you are someone like me and you have depression and you have anxiety and you struggle with mental health issues in a way that it affects your everyday life, I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you right now that that depression and that anxiety that you have, that actually stems from deeply rooted either trauma or limiting beliefs, and a lot of those things run for generations without us even realizing it. For me personally, I can honestly say that my depression, my anxiety, my limiting beliefs, all of those have stemmed from generational trauma, things that I've carried with me in my bloodline. They've shown up in the way that I approach relationships, the way that I approach men, the way that I feel about my body, the relationship I have with my body, the relationship I have with other people. They have been so deeply rooted and ingrained in me that they were just kind of rooted in my subconscious belief, and they were running the show. They were running how I showed up in life. And when I actually started to sit down and take the time to try to reverse these limiting beliefs and try to break that cycle and that chain of some beliefs that have been passed down to me, I started to realize that that's actually where a lot of my depression and my mental health issues were kind of stemming from, is because I had these beliefs that were just going over and over and over and over in my brain, to the point that my reality had shifted. My external reality shifted because the internal reality was so used to one narrative. And what I'm referring to when I say that these generational beliefs or these limiting beliefs that we have ingrained within us are the beliefs that we may have taken from our caretakers, or the people that raised us, or the people that we were constantly around growing up. And this can be things that have been said in passing, things that have been told to us directly, things that we may have heard that we picked up. This could be about how the world works. This is how the world works. This is how money works. This is how relationships work. And so over time, as we kind of grew up and as we were exposed to a certain narrative or certain limiting beliefs, whatever it may be, because they differ from family to family, from person to person, we kind of accepted, okay, so this is what my caretaker or my loved one or people that I'm constantly hanging around or exposed to, this is what they think is important. So I'm going to focus on this, and this is what they think it's not important, so I'm not going to focus on this, because if I focus on what is important, that is how I gain love and acceptance. That is how I gain love and acceptance from them. So therefore, this is going to be my narrative. And we kind of grow up and we accept this narrative, we accept whatever limiting beliefs have been passed down to us, and that's kind of what affects our external reality. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example of just a small but incredibly powerful generational belief that I was passed down, and how it kind of manifested in my life. So I grew up constantly hearing this phrase, Lacy, your reputation is all that you have in this world. What are people gonna think about you. And this would often pertain to just like decisions that I would make and people that I chose to date or hang out with, things that I chose to wear. And this isn't like an uncommon thing to hear when you grow up in like a small town, but I heard this so often to the point that it started to mold my life and my decisions and my actions and my thoughts around what other people would think of me. I started to embody this belief by living an inauthentic life. I got into inauthentic relationships that just weren't serving me. I worked inauthentic jobs that I didn't love because they looked good on paper and I wanted everyone to think something of me. And I also, not only that, like I felt like my whole life became so inauthentic because all I did was wonder what other people would think of me and how I could make other people like me and other people to accept me and other people to think, wow, look at Lacy. Lacy's doing great in life. And the truth of the matter is that I was living this stagnant, unhappy, inauthentic life. I wasn't really manifesting anything. I wasn't doing anything out of pure joy. I was doing everything for everyone else. And so after I started to actually recognize like, wow, this is actually not who I am. I'm actually living inauthentic. I'm actually doing things that just aren't serving me and nothing is really changing in my life. After I started to realize that and do the actual work to find myself and actually come back to myself, something actually really transformative happened for me. And I'm going to tell you the truth, like the truth about what actually happened after I started to break this generational cycle. Serious depression. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I know it sounds like a joke, but serious depression happened after I started to break this generational belief. And you know why? I'm gonna tell you why. It's because suddenly I had no idea who I was anymore. Suddenly I was like, wow, this generational belief has been running the show all of my life. And so suddenly I was in this push and this pull against who I actually was, because I started to question everything that I knew, every belief. And this goes for any belief that you have, that you've been told that is true about the world or about whatever the belief is. Once you start to break that cycle, once you start to address it, you are going to go through this push and this pull like you've never known before, because all you've known is this one belief. All you've known is what your caretakers told you, because why would your caretakers ever tell you anything that isn't truth? Because you took that as truth and you made it your whole life. And this isn't like anything, this is not bashing caretakers, this is not bashing parents, because they were doing the best that they could with what they had. When you decide to break that cycle, you are the first one to break this cycle. You are the one fighting to be different. You are the one fighting to prove them wrong. You are the one fighting to find yourself. It's this constant push and pull of trying to find yourself and trying to find the truth and trying to pull out the cord that has been stuck within you for so long, that its roots are so deeply ingrained. You are fighting to pull that cord out and throw it on the ground and set fire to everything that it was and start something new and create a new cord, something that actually serves you. And that is not an easy change to make. And that's another reason why I struggled with depression after I realized like I needed to work on this belief. I wanted to make generations worth of change in one day. I wanted to do something that has been passed on for generations overnight. And I carried so much guilt with trying to change and not being able to change overnight, to the point that, you know, I would have the same belief come back and I'd hear those words in my brain and I'd be like, oh no, I can't think that. Like, no, I gotta scratch this out. I gotta be a new person. I gotta embody the new belief. I gotta do it overnight and right now. And I want to tell you right now something that completely changed my life when I was working on changing these limiting beliefs that have been passed down for so long. And this is it. This is going to change your life right here. This is going to take the guilt away almost immediately. It is not the first thought that counts. It is the second. Out of instinct, you're going to go back to that limiting belief, and it's going to be something like, oh, I'm going to be poor forever. Oh, I'll never have money. Oh, I'm always going to attract the wrong relationships. Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Whatever the belief is that you have, you're going to immediately out of instinct go to that first belief, and then you're gonna be like, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not stupid. I'm not poor. I'm not gonna be poor forever. I'm not gonna be in this situation forever. That is the thought that counts, because you know what? Your first thought is gonna come through, and then your higher self is gonna be like, whoa, girl, bring it down some. You're not stupid. You're not poor. You're not broke. That is the thought that counts. I want you to remind yourself that every single time you are working on breaking a belief that you've held with you for so long, every single time you choose to stand up and say, no, I am worthy of this new belief. No, I am worthy of this new life. No, I am empowering. I am beautiful. I am abundant. I am loved. I am protected. Every single time that you make that new thought and you embrace the second voice that comes to you, you are powerfully changing your DNA. And the absolute beautiful thing is that even if you choose to not have children, if you don't have children, no matter what, every single time you work on your generational trauma, every single time you work on these beliefs, you are changing everyone around you. Because the very first law of the universe, the law of divine oneness, states that everything is connected. Every thought, every event, every action is all connected. So when you heal yourself, you are healing the collective. It is the butterfly effect that affects the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So if you get down, if you ever start to feel depression like I do, like, why am I doing this work? Why am I trying so hard? I'm gonna keep having this belief forever. Like, nothing's gonna change. I promise you that second voice is gonna be the voice reminding you to come back to yourself. Right now, that first voice might be the one that constantly keeps talking to you and you constantly keep hearing it in your brain. But once you start to allow that second voice to just slide on in with ease, pretty soon it's gonna be the first voice that speaks to you. I hope that you guys got something from this video and you enjoyed hearing me speak. If you got something from it, if you had any insights, anything that you resonated with, please leave me a comment below. Please give this video a thumbs up and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. And I hope that you are so blessed and abundant in this coming week.